Hi guys, Andy here, and I'm here to bring you all things Monday to makeup related. If that's your vibe, I'd love it if you would subscribe to be part of my little slice of the internet. And in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you my current, inventory numbers for the year. This is going to be as of the end of the year, as of December. Well, today is the 28th, but I don't see my collection changing any more than it has. So yeah, if you want to see the number-wise everything that's in my inventory, then let's just go ahead and get on into it. So I will have taken pictures of these things and or screen recordings, and you'll be seeing that on the screen. But I completely overhauled my Google Sheets, and I went through and I updated everything. I went through everything and made sure it was all up to date. I re-added everything that was in my chopping block because that wasn't originally in my spreadsheet anymore, but those things are still in my collection, so I added those back because if I declutter them, then I can put that in my spreadsheet as a declutter. So first, we're just going to go through the inventory portion. So we're just going to get into, and I'll explain that whole system. So as you'll see on the screen here, I did a declutter in October, so that's where the first numbers were, and then I put January 2025. It's the 28th of December, but like I said, I don't see my collection changing in numbers. From here on out, I want to reevaluate every July and then January, end of December, January. So that's what we're going to be doing going forward, but I want to show you how my numbers have changed just from October to January, because I did get some packages and some friend mail and some things like that. So, and I've set goals now for things for my categories, for most of them, and I would like your opinions on the couple that I haven't set goals on. So for primer, I have my primer set into two different categories. We have primer and then eye primer. For primer, in October I had 6, I now have 8. My goal is 5. So I went up by 2 from October to now because I do get things from Influencer as well as friend mail, and then I don't think I've bought any primers. But, I mean, I haven't bought any makeup in a long while, besides like what comes in my Ipsy and BoxyCharm. But I feel like my goal would be 5 primers, because that could give me like a gripping primer, some hydrating primers, a pore filling primer, some things to try. But I don't feel too bad with 8 because I have 2 minis. So really I'm at 6 full-size primers. So it's not the end of the world, but I went up by 2 from October to January. Eye primers, I had 5 in October, I have 4 now. So I went down by 1. So that's the coloring system as well that I put in. Red is going up, green is decreasing or staying the same. Awesome, easy. I would say my goal is 3 eye primers, 2 like regular bases, 1 my glitter glue. And I don't think that's that bad. I have 4 currently. I'm not crazy mad at it. I will be down to 3 in by January because this guy is literally on its last legs. So we're doing good on eye primer. I'm not too mad about it. Foundation stayed the same, which is wild. October we had 17. January we still have 17. I would say that my goal should be like 8. That's what I'm thinking, just so I can cycle through them a little bit better. So but I was also thinking 10. Let me know what you think. How many foundations do you keep in your collection to cycle through? Like, is 8 too strict of a goal considering I currently have 17? Should I put it up to 10? I'd love any opinions on anything that I have a question on. I'd love it in the comments. For concealer, I had 12 in October, and I have 8 now. I have emptied all of my mini concealers. They're all gone. So I've been down by 4, and I'm so proud of that. I think my goal for concealer is 4. Like 4 full-size concealers would be, but again, is that too strict? But I was thinking if I have 8 foundations, 4 concealers is a good balance. For powder, and that's pressed powder and loose powder. It's all one category. I had 9 in October. I have 12 now. My goal is 5. I went up by 3, but I think my goal is 5. 1 to 2 pressed powders maybe, and then 3 loose powders. But because the only other way, because I have to do even numbers or 5s, like by 5s, like. So the only other one I would do would be 6 and or 8. And I just also feel like that's too many. I think 5 is a good number for powder. Setting spray, I had 4. Now I have 3. Went down by 1, which is awesome. I think my goal is 2. 1 setting spray, 1 finishing spray. I don't need more than that. So we're on our way there. I do need a finishing spray. I have 3 setting sprays. So for bronzer, we had 27. We now have 24. I didn't finish any. I think that was just through decluttering. So we went down by 3, which is fantastic. I think a good goal is 10. Let me know if that's too strict, but I don't know. I feel like for bronzer, I have, bronzer is just one tone that works for you. So I don't feel like I need a lot of bronzer. And bronzer, blush, and highlight, that's including my creams. I didn't break down creams and powders. That's all in one category. And that's including my pans that are in face palettes. So if face palette has bronzer, that's counted in my bronzers. But I will also show you my face palettes as you've seen. Just because I feel like knowing how many actual face palettes is also helpful. For blush, I had 74. I now have 85. I went up by 9. I went up by 11. My dumbass. I think a good goal for blush is 35. So I could use a different one every day of the month, plus a couple. But yeah, I think 35 is a good number, but also, is that too strict considering I have 85 blushes? But again, that's counting all of the pans in face palettes. I have a lot of blush in palettes, which is wild. And if you would have asked me like a year and a half ago, I would have been like, highlighter is my favorite category. And nope, it's blush. I mean, highlighter is, I do have more highlighter, but like, I would have never been like, you have a lot of blush. Nope. So, for highlight, we went from 84 to 99. Yeah, so that's 50. I was making sure my math was correct. So we went up by 15. I'm also thinking 35 highlighters because, again, 1 for every day plus a couple. Let me know. Too strict, not too strict. For face palettes, I had 21. I now have 24. So we went up by 3. I think my goal would be 10. 10 face palettes. Whether it be an all highlighter palette, a blush bronzer highlight palette, any kind of face palette. Like just a face palette. I think 10 is a fine number. Like, considering I have singles of all of those categories. I do use my face palettes. I love my face palettes. I don't need 24 of them. For brows, I had 4. I currently only have 1. I'm down by 3. I think my goal is 2. A brow pencil and a brow gel. That's all I need. And I don't even currently have a brow pencil. I just have a brow gel. So I think that we're doing good on that. For mascara, I had 6. I now only have 1. I'm down by 5. My goal, I think, would be 2. I'd love to have a brown mascara and a black mascara open, but I'm also just thinking the one I'd be currently working on in a backup for mascara. Eyeliner. I had 42. I now have 46. I recently have gotten eyeliners in my Ipsy and BoxyCharm. So there's that. But I'm up by 4. I'm thinking a good eyeliner goal would be 15. But again, let me know. Also, my shadow sticks are counted in my eyeliner category. Oh my goodness. No, come here. Oh, say hello. You did a big scrump, so now you gotta say hello. Yeah, I know. For lips, this category exploded. I went from 54. Okay, bye. That was Blazemere. If you're new here, that is my emotional support animal. I love him so very, very much. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. I want to weigh him, but I don't know how to get him to just sit on a scale. But it went from 54 to 74, which is wild that it went up by exactly 20. But DW sent me so many Colourpop, what are they? The lip tints for me to try. And then I've gotten a bunch of lip liners in my Ipsy and BoxyCharm. Plus I've just gotten a few actual lippies just in Ipsy and BoxyCharm. My lip category has just exploded. I went up by 20. I think a good goal again for lipstick would be 30. A different one to use every day of the week. Blazemere, what are you doing? He's in a mood today. But let me know, is that too strict? I'd love to know. My specialty category. So for that is my mixing mediums. It's my makeup removers that I keep here at my desk and my cuticle oil. So I had 5, I now have 7. I went up by 2. I think the goal is 10, like 10 things, because I keep so many different products in my specialty category that I want to keep it at 10 for mixing mediums, makeup removers that I keep at my desk, because the ones that I keep at my desk are specifically for swatches. Like, they're not makeup removers for my face. So like I have this Borboleta one. This is the one I'm currently using, and then I have a micellar water that's just here at my desk. And then my cuticle oil, you know, like that's something if it sits at my desk, I do want to catalog it in my spreadsheet. So I think a good goal is 10, so I have room for different things. The next 2 categories, I would love to know what you think is a realistic goal. So for eyeshadow palettes, I had 150. I now have 193. DW sent me so many palettes as a birthday/Christmas present, and I'm so grateful and thankful. I love them. I went up by 43. I don't know what a good realistic goal is for palettes. Like, I feel like I should get back down to 150. I feel like that was a more manageable goal. But I would just love to know your feedback on that. And then also for single eyeshadows, DW sent me quite a few. I went from 241 to 280. I went up by 39. My palettes and my single shadows are in projects for me to figure out what I'm keeping and what I'm decluttering. But still, I don't know what a good realistic goal is, because even at the 241 that I had before, I still feel like that was too many. So what do you think would be a good goal for my single shadows? And that's, single shadows is my magnetic singles. They're just, you know, in my Z palettes. And it's my loose shadows, my Colourpop Super Shocks, my liquid shadows. That is including all of those. So I would just love to know. And like, should I break that up? Should I have my, because I do have them in 2 drawers. Should I put my Colourpop Super Shocks, my loose shadows, and my liquid shadows as one category, and then my magnetic singles as a separate category? Would that be better for me to categorize it that way? How do you let me know? But that is just a good overview of my inventory there. And then I did just break everything up. So I just wanted to quickly show you how I did my Google Sheets, in case anybody wanted to see that, because I know Google Sheets, if you use Google Sheets, everybody does theirs a little bit differently. So I did my primer, and this is the format of how I set up every page. So in column A, I have the brand. In column B, I have the product. In column C, I'll have, if I emptied the product, I want to have the date that it was emptied. And obviously that I emptied it. If I hit pan, I want to put that I hit pan and the date that I hit pan on it. In column D, I want to put where I got it from, whether that be influencer, BoxyCharm, a giveaway, purchased it, someone decluttered it to me. That is column D. And column E is going to be my links. If I have a link to said product, I want to put that in there so that that is something that I can just easily go grab. If I declutter an item, that's going to be in column C, because it'll be no longer in my collection, because that'll be in the same vein as emptying it or hitting pan if I declutter it. I think going forward, column F will be when I purchase something or when it comes into my collection. But that will be that going forward. I don't have that as of right now. As you see the yellow, that is because I emptied that product. And I want to highlight that so I know that that is no longer my collection, so that I can see that very quickly. And as we can see, if I go into foundation, that is the same thing. I have all of those same styles. And as you can see, I emptied a foundation. And so that is set up the exact same. The only one that is a little bit different would be eyeshadow palettes. The way I have eyeshadow palettes set up is column A is the palette, Colourpop, Boudoir Noir. Like, let's look at that. And then I have the price because I just have that. Column B is every shade name from said palette, just in case I need to find that quickly. So I have all that listed out. Column C is still the same, whether it's an empty or I hit pan. And so like for this shade here from the Colourpop Orangey Glad, I don't have an exact date of when I emptied that. So, and I know it wasn't 2024, but I'm just putting that because I know that it's empty. So that's there. I have whether I purchased it or not, and then my links again. So that is how I have my palettes set up, because I want to have all the shade names listed out. Trust me, that took forever. Redoing my Google Sheets literally took it took an entire day. It took forever. But that is how I have my Google Sheets set up. That is my inventory going into the new year. I'd love to know your opinion on my goals and how I have things set up. If you do your Google Sheets differently, I'd love to know what your categories are, because I am always willing to take feedback on how I do my Google Sheets. Adding different categories, changing things up to make it a little more optimized. I'd love to know. I'm very OCD about that, but if you have a better way or you have a different way, I would love to hear it in the comments down below. But that's going to do it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.